and welcome to our nightly news. These are the headlines. President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune held his periodic media meeting addressing key national and international issues. Former Algerian footballer and coach Jamal Minad has passed away. The president extended condolences to his family and the sports community. In France, institutional and media-fueled hate speech is driving a worrying surge in racism. A mass protest was held against the far-right's influence. The Makhzen is down again with a new scandal. Spanish authorities have dismantled a drug trafficking network operating along the Spanish-Moroccan border. Details coming up. And the Women and Family Productive exhibition showcases Algerian women's innovations, highlighting their role in national development and economic diplomacy. Well, welcome back everyone to tonight's news, and we begin it with the President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune, who held his regular media meeting with the representatives of national press discussing key national and international issues. The President of the Republic reaffirmed the state's commitment to completing digitization nationwide by the end of 2025. The President also reiterated Algeria's social policy in line with the principles set by the martyrs of the Liberation Revolution and the Declaration of November 1st. More details in the upcoming editions. Former national team striker and coach of several clubs, Jamal Minad, passed away on Saturday morning at the age of 64. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, extended his heartfelt condolences to the family of the late. In his message, the President expressed a deep sorrow over the loss of one of Algeria's football legends, describing it as a tragic moment for the sports community. He highlighted Minad's remarkable career with GS Kabylie and the national team during the 1980s and the 1990s, praising his outstanding achievements, sportsmanship and legacy. The President offered his sympathy to Minad's family and the entire Algerian football community, praying that Allah grants him mercy and patience to his loved ones in these final days of Ramadan. To Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. In a heartfelt funeral ceremony, former Algerian football star Jamal Minad was laid to rest Saturday's afternoon at Aissati Dir Cemetery in Beni Msous. The funeral was attended by the family of the late player, the advisor to the President of the Republic in charge of the General Director of Communication, Kamal Sidi Said, the Minister of Sports, Walid Sadi, the Governor of Algiers, former teammates, sports figures, and a large number of citizens.
Jamal Minad, ربي يرحمه أسطورة.
Jamal Minad was a legend. He gave a lot for the Algerian football, an exceptional player in Serre Belouizdad and in the GS Kabylie. He was also a great trainer.
Everybody loved him. He was a nice person. May God have mercy on him.
May God have mercy on his soul and grant his family patience.
May God have mercy on him. He was a model.
Indeed, Algerian football bids farewell to one of its greats. Jamal Minad, a name that resonated across generations, leaves behind a legacy of talent, dedication, and unforgettable moments on the field. More details with Najh Tayar.
A legendary figure of the Algerian football, Kamal Minad, has passed away at the age of 65 after a long battle with illness. His career was marked by an impressive list of national and international achievements, making him a role model of dedication, self-sacrifice and determination. A key player of GS Kabylie, he played a crucial role in several national and continental victories, including the 1981 African Cup of Champions clubs. However, his greatest moment came with the Algerian national team at the 1990 Algerian Cup of Nations, where he finished as the tournament's top scorer and helped Algeria secure the title on home soil. Minet's professional career spanned nearly 2 decades, during which he had 2 spells with the GS Kabylie, within 5 Algerian league titles and 3 African trophies. He also won league titles with the CR Belouizdad, GSK and USM Algiers. On the international stage, he represented Algeria at the 1986 FIFA World Cup, making 6 appearances. Later, as a coach, he twice led his team to the Algerian Cup final, further cementing his impact on the sport. His contribution to the Algerian football, both on and off the field, will continue to inspire the future generations.
French colonization in Algeria was marked by extermination and displacement. From the very beginning, colonial authorities resorted to brutal tactics to suppress resistance and enforce domination over the Algerian people. Najhtiyar.
To crush the Algerian resistance, the French army restored the ruthless and systematic violence. From 1830 onward, under the General Bugeaud's command, entire villages were destroyed, crops were burned, and massacres were carried out.
In Algeria, when the French arrived, almost all the children, that's to say, and even many girls, and when they left, all the schools had been destroyed and disappeared. In reality, France carried out a genocidal occupation, killing 1 million Algerians out of a population of 3 million at the time.
Millions d'Algériens tués sur 3 millions d'habitants à l'époque.
I'm not just talking about the combatants, but civilians have been eradicated or expelled with death by starvation at the end of the road.
Le plus dur aussi, c'était de ratisser des zones qui étaient
The hardest part too was common inhabited areas that had not been evacuated by the army, that were inhabited and that had been bombed. There indeed we witnessed scenes of violent horror. Women and children burnt, killed by shells, by bombings.
femmes, d'enfants brûlés, tués par les obus, par le...
In 1845, a brutal method of repression started to be used against the Algerian refugees, as hundreds were forced into caves and perished from asphyxiation due to fires set at the entrances. This technique, known as enfumé, became a recurrent tool of oppression and is considered by many historians to be the earliest form of gas chambers.
Between 1958 and 1959 and 1960, France gassed Algerian women in caves with chemical ice, but the French army was inhuman to the end in Algeria.
Les appelés qui ont fait ça. L'armée française a été inhumaine jusqu'au bout en Algérie.
Tout le monde y est passé.
Everyone was there. This woman who was there quietly with her baby in her arms. The sergeant who had been hired. He arrived and ripped the baby from her arms and smashed it against the wall.
Mais il y a des limites.
The colonial repression in Algeria went far beyond les enfumades. Throughout the occupation, France established camps, carried out mass executions, and orchestrated brutal massacres. During the War of Liberation, this brutality reached its peak. Prisoners were tortured, their bodies mutilated with wire, and then discarded in mass graves.
Un jour, on me confie 2 prisonniers. Ils étaient attachés avec du fil de fer au poignet.
One day I was in charge of some prisoners. Their wrists were tightly bound with wire, cut into their skin, leaving them bleeding and attracting flies. Unable to remove it with my hands, I sent a messenger to fetch a pair of pliers. When he returned, I used them to cut the wire and free their hands. Just then, the captain arrived. The moment he saw that the prisoners were no longer bound, he interrupted in anger. "Who did this?" he shouted. Scanning the room with no other choice, I admitted it was me. Without hesitation, he tied up the prisoners again, himself this time pulling the wires even tighter.
Qui a rattaché avec du fil de fer et en serrant la pince.
In the early days, electricity was widely available and hand-cranked generators were commonly used in CDMA-9 radio sets to generate power. Someone had to manually turn the generator, producing a current of 80 to 100 volts. However, the police inspectors often bypassed this process and directly plunged into the 110-volt supply. Against a powerful colonial force, the Algerian people endured brutal repression, and after years of resistance, they won a hard-fought independence, leaving lasting scars that remain to this day.
And amid the rise of racism and the far right in France, thousands of people took to the streets this Saturday, denouncing hate speech and racial violence. Protesters called for urgent action against systematic discrimination. Misa Lila Balaman reports.
This Saturday, tens of thousands of people took to the streets in response to a call from unions, associations and left-wing parties denouncing the alarming rise of racism and the far right in France. From Paris to Marseille, through Toulouse, Bordeaux, Montpellier and even Corrèze, rallies were held as part of the International Day Against Racism and Fascism. You know, the dominant form of state racism today is clearly directed at Islam, but history shows that when one form of racism takes hold, all marginalized groups eventually become the next targets. In France, a young black or Arab man is 20 times more likely to be stopped by the police and the rest of the population. And when I, as an elected representative, am threatened with a taser by police officers simply for exercising my right to intervene during a case of racial profiling, and the Paris police chief do not condemn their officer, they stand by him. In 2024, authorities recorded 9,400 racist crimes and offences, an alarming 11% increase from the previous year. This surge reflects not only the normalization of hateful rhetoric, but also its growing influence in public discourse and its tangible impact on discrimination. We are witnessing a wave of violence, insults, physical and verbal assaults sweeping across the country, and it must stop. This climate is fueled by unrestrained rhetoric coming from the highest levels of government, like Darmanin and Rotaillot compete to strip foreigners and dual nationals of their rights. They foster an atmosphere of hostility and exclusion. Nahel is not just one death too many, he is yet another name on the growing list. Since 2017, under the Hollande era, 15/9 law, which effectively grants police officers a license to kill, 35 people have been shot dead by police after refusing to comply. The vast majority were black or Arab. Across France, nearly 60,000 demonstrators took to the streets, voicing their concern over an ideology that is taking deeper root in the country's political landscape.
And the new scandal rocks the Makhzen. Spanish police dismantles a major drug trafficking network linked to Morocco. The arrest of key figures, including Moroccan Member of Parliament and police officers, exposes deep corruption. And as poverty and unrest grow, the Makhzen remains deaf to its people's suffering. Misalila Balaman.
The Makhzen has been shaken by yet another scandal. Spanish police have announced the arrest of 4 individuals in Ceuta as part of an ongoing investigation into a major drug trafficking network, following the discovery of a tunnel on the Spanish-Moroccan border last February. Prior to this, authorities had already arrested 8 people and seized over 1,000 kilograms of processed cannabis. This operation has exposed the involvement of 14 individuals, including a Moroccan parliamentarian and police officers, further revealing Morocco's deep entanglement in drug trafficking, a cross-border plague that continues to spread globally. Morocco has willingly sacrificed its sovereignty in exchange for normalization, all while driving its people further into poverty and despair.
Look at the state of the poor. We're starving to death.
Normalization, corruption, and an increasingly unbearable social crisis have been imposed on Moroccans, fueling relentless waves of protest. Yet, despite the growing outrage in the streets, the Makhzen clings to its policies with complete disregard for its citizens and the suffering they endure every day.
Minister of Mujahideen and Rights Holders Al-Aid Rabiga was received by Namibian President Ntombo Nandine Daitu at the Presidential Palace in Windhoek. The visit followed the inauguration ceremony held on Friday, coinciding with Namibia's 35th Independence Day anniversary. Minister Rabiga attended the ceremony as the representative of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. And as part of counter-terrorism efforts and border protection units of the PNA operating in the Ain Gazam operational sector in the 6th military region eliminated 2 foreign tourists who had illegally crossed the national border on March 21st. The operation led to the recovery of sniper rifle, 3 ammunition magazines, a significant quantity of ammunition, a satellite phone, a 4-wheel drive vehicle and other items. And this success adds to a series of high-impact operations reaffirming the Army's vigilance and commitment to safeguarding Algeria's borders against any attempted infiltration. On the occasion of Eid al-Fitr, the Ministry of Justice announced the launch of a new remote visitation system for inmates, allowing also video calls with relatives. The system will be introduced gradually, starting with southern courts before expanding nationwide. Families in the south wishing to use the service are urged to contact judicial authorities for more information. And the initiative aims to support inmate reintegration and maintain family ties, especially for those facing travel difficulties. CAF has officially informed all member federations that jerseys featuring political symbols, slogans or images are now banned in all its competitions. The decision follows a ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sport on February 26, which deemed political imagery on jerseys a violation of CAF regulations. The organization emphasized that enforcing this rule is the responsibility of member federations, warning that non-compliance leads to immediate sanctions. Now, under the motto Innovation and Victory, the Palace of Culture Mufti Zakaria witnessed the opening of the Women and Family exhibition devoted to the Diplomatic Corps. The event was organized by the Solidarity Ministry in coordination with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the one of Tourism and the Ministry of Knowledge and Small Enterprises. Misa Kibash.
This inspiring exhibition showcases the remarkable talents of stay-at-home women, highlighting their diverse crafts and significant contributions to the national economy.
This is my fourth time visiting this annual exhibition. I found several art pieces and I discovered many Algerian craftswomen. I even bought this outfit.
A lot of works done by women, from art to ornament and various clothing.
This is my first time here, and I think it's very wonderful to see a lot of Algerian women involving in the economic activity in Algeria.
The event served as a powerful testament to their entrepreneurial spirit and skill. Each piece a testament to hours of dedicated work. The training I had on the crafts chamber, specialized in beauty products and soap, allowed me to create my own product. The government really helped us.
This is an opportunity to promote products and extend our projects so as to create job positions. As a craftswoman, I like to give the opportunity for foreigners to buy local products. We grant immense importance to this category of women, as well as a program in coordination with the International Office of Job.
We would like to consolidate the efforts aimed at integrating these craftsmen in the economic and social life. With the contribution of the Tourism and Traditional Industry Ministry that always work to show the efforts of the craftswomen in different fields across all provinces. Thanks to the Algerian efforts in providing training and necessary support, many craftswomen were able to break the stereotype of stay-at-home women and contribute in the national economy recovery.
By providing a platform for these women to display and sell their creations, the exhibition not only celebrated their artistry but also underscored their vital role in enriching the nation's economic landscape, proving that home-based crafts are a valuable and often overlooked engine of growth.
That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.